Okay, Mary, we are live. Let's start now.
Okay, thank you everyone, all the participants present. Welcome to the session 13 of this conference, Social Business in Academia, where we are talking about where are we today, and this is an overview, and it's organized by Unis Center. And what we are going to have here in this session is designed to allow speakers to share their valuable thoughts, experiences, and plans around the importance of including social business model in academia. Academicians, researchers, and activists around the world have been emphasizing the importance of incorporating the concept of social business into the education system, as it is believed to be a relevant and new economic theory that deserves more recognition. This session will therefore bring up the current scenario and updates, including the subject of social business in academic sector of today's world. We will also discuss strategies to keep progressing with our goals to make social business mainstream in academia. To guide us in this, we have our moderator, Professor Dr. Anita Nowak. Please kindly welcome and lead us through. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. It's such a pleasure and delight and honor and privilege to be among you all for me this morning at 9:30 a.m. in Montreal. So I teach at McGill University. I teach ethics and management, leadership, and for more than a decade, social entrepreneurship and social innovation. And I think the reason why I was invited to facilitate this, this conversation is that my research has empathy embedded throughout all of the work that I do. For my PhD, I interviewed dozens of social entrepreneurs from around the world, startups and those that have been scaled far and wide. And when I understood the lives of these social entrepreneurs and tried to discern why they spent their time and talent creating positive change in the world, it was distilled down to this idea of having empathy for others and needing to act on that. So I developed what I called a pedagogy of empathic action, and it informs my teaching and my writing and my speaking. So I am really delighted to be here because I feel that all of us who are trying to integrate social business into formal education and business schools and faculties of management have an innate understanding that empathy is one of the key drivers of our work. So I'll leave my little intro there. I'd like to acknowledge the panelists that are here. I would like to welcome Dr. Douglas Munzvengi, who is a researcher and social entrepreneur at the Catholic University of Zimbabwe. I'd like to also welcome Dr. Faiz Shah, who is the head of development management and director of the Unis Center at the Asian Institute of Technology. I would like to welcome Dr. Mohammed Masoom Iqbal, who is the Dean of the Department of Business Administration in the Faculty of Business and Entrepreneurship at the Daffodil International University in Bangladesh. I'd like to welcome and introduce Dr. Mai T. Tan Tai, who is also in Montreal. She is an associate professor in the Department of Entrepreneurship and Innovation and the Director of Social Business Creation at HEC Montréal. And last but not least, I would like to welcome Dr. Asim Chauhan, who is the Chancellor of Amit University in India. And as was mentioned, the purpose of this panel is just to get a sense of where higher education is in terms of research, teaching about social business. So what I'll do is I sense that there's a degree of informality and co-creation between all of us. So maybe I would invite you to share some progress that your center or your university is making to bring social business education to the forefront and make it a priority within your institution. And once we've heard from each member of the panel, then maybe we can go for a second or third round of questions. So I might start with Dr. Chauhan, please.
Thank you, Anita, and my regards and greetings to the family that is bound together by the great respect and regard that we have for the inimitable Professor Unis, who inspires not only us, but millions of people around the world. And we consider ourselves so lucky to have his blessings and patronage and inspiration that we draw. At the Amity Education Group, in India, which comprises of 11 universities and 30 campuses in India with 175,000 students and 15 campuses globally. We have drawn inspiration from Professor Yunus, and we are so committed to this idea of growing social business. And when we talk about the role of universities in higher education in social business, and to me, it comes in three different ways. One is to sensitize through education. And this year we have introduced, as part of our MBA programs, modules in social business, in microfinance, and social banking, inspired by the work of Professor Yunus. We are continuing to develop diplomas and programs that can be used to spread the education of social business. That's number one. Number two, to research to understand more about social business. So Amit University being a research-driven university, we have a number of research projects going on in financial literacy and financial management, particularly for women in self-help groups in the Nagaur district in Rajasthan, which is wonderful work. Again, on financial literacy, there is research happening in the state of Haryana. Research is happening through student projects in 5 villages that we have adopted through the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan project in India, where students are working and documenting the impacts of the projects that they are doing. And in a number of other areas, we have done social business conferences, like the one organized in November 2020 on social business academia conference by Dr. Amit Jain, our Pro-Vice Chancellor at Amit University, Rajasthan. So a number of other research initiatives, Anita, are going on. And the third pillar, I would say, is really maybe the most important, which is the role of higher education to inspire the youth of today to have hands-on projects in social business and related areas, so that tomorrow they can devote their life to entrepreneurship and business development that will have an impact on so many others. And I just want to highlight 1 or 2 projects that our students and faculties have been working on. One is that our Unis Social Business Center at Amit University, Haryana, in collaboration with our Center for Nanotechnology, has developed a N95 mask using 3D printing technology, which is now licensed and commercialized, which we have developed as a social business and is already in the market for those who cannot really afford masks otherwise. We have a global well-being forum in another one of our Unis Social Business Centers, trying to work on mental health. We have a skilling program that our students are running to empower and benefit rural youth under the Hunar Se Rojgar Tak and Surya Mitra Skill Development Program, which is helping in skilling of youth in rural areas. And all of this within the YSBCs that we are running. There is a project going on for e-commerce powered rural retail venture in remote areas of Haryana, conceptualized by our students that are attached to the YSBC. And I've got in front of me a very long list of different innovations and technologies that our YSBCs and the students that are attached are running. So the bigger point is, can we be inspired by what happens in higher education to change the world? And for me, one of the best days of my life was on July 23rd, when I saw during the inaugural of the Olympic Games in Tokyo, Professor Yunus being given the Olympic Laurel Award. And truly, I could not contain my emotion, because who deserves it more than the great Professor Yunus? And we are all devoted and dedicated to his mission. And today we only have a few Unis Social Business Centers within the Amity network, but I really want that we do this across all of Amity universities and institutions globally, and that we work with many other universities and institutions around the world as one family to see how can we hold hands, how can we do better education, better research, and better inspiration of our children and youth to work on social business projects in the future. Anita, I'll stop here, but it's such a pleasure being with all of you. And we are all connected through this wonderful network that we have as Professor Yunus as the father figure.
Well, thank you, Dr. Chauhan, for getting us started. There's so much to unpack, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of time to dig into some more details. I'm very curious about a few of your programs. I did get a little note that I jumped the gun a bit. Perhaps we may want to hear from Dr. Unis to say a few words to greet us in this session. Can I pass the baton to you, sir?
No, this is just to welcome you, that's all. This is the format they made, that at the beginning of every session that I should be inviting and they should be welcoming everybody. We already had a chat, so this is not a big deal. It's a formality. But I'm definitely very happy that we could get together. It's a very inspiring thing to see everybody together and with the same mission, same objective that we go. Particularly, it become very important. I was just coming from a COP26 meeting prior to this session right now. And there I was mentioning that already our leader, particularly Secretary General of the United Nations, made it very clear in telling the world leaders face to face, eye to eye, that we are digging graves, or we are digging our own graves. It's not something we should take lightly because he must have spent a lot of time figuring it out whether he will say it so straightforward. But he did, and he said, spade is spade, we are digging graves. So our time is very limited. That's the whole point, and COP26 revealed that we have not much time left for us. And that's where university role becomes very important. That's the issue that I was focusing on today, that the universities have created the mess to begin with by promoting all the wrong ideas and wrong thinking, wrong design, everything, creating wrong businesses. So we have to clean up the mess ourselves in the university campuses, university, what we teach is very important. All the addictions that we give came from our own advice that this is the good thing to do. You have to have addiction and obsession about the money making, profit maximization, and addiction to fossil fuel. All those things which was discussed in COP26 at the beginning. So this is where we are. And since we don't have much time left on this planet, it's a role of the university which becomes very important. If this is what it is, how to mobilize all our intellectual ability, intellectual muscles that we have to challenge the thing that we already promoted, that that's not the way to do it differently. So that differently, at least we have some option that we have been promoting, social business, entrepreneurship and all that, and how to make it very loud and clear that no, we are not going to submit to this process of extinction. We will reverse it. So that's the time we have to be strong and very aggressively doing it because it's our life and our future generations' life is at stake. So that's where we are right now. This year is very important because of the COP26 revealed all this and the IPCC told us very straightforward where we are. And to me, this decade is the only decade that will decide the fate of the planet. Either we make it or we extinct ourselves. That's the whole. So this decade is important as a whole, but I'm saying this year is the year where we have to prepare for the takeoff so that we can go by the end of the decade, we are already at the cruising speed. We are not waiting to do something, think behind and do and so. So we have to reach the cruising speed by 2030, that we know we are set. Now it's a question of pushing it to all the way to the end of the century, keep it at 1.5, under 1.5. It's not a kind of light discussion, it's a very serious discussion. Our leaders are shifty, they say things and switch on things, say one thing, do something else because of their circumstances. We are not bound by their circumstances. Our life, of our children and our families, and the future of the planet itself is at stake. So we have to be very tough, and that toughness has to come from the university. And that's what we are representing right now. So this conversation is a very important conversation. I hope we'll take it to our campuses and see what we can Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you for those words. Call to action with a sense of urgency. So yes, I'm sure that all of our ears are burning with that message. Thank you so much. I might pass the baton on to Dr. Tai.
Thank you, Anita. I'd like to share my screen to share with you what we've been doing at HEC Montreal and globally. So social business creation since its foundation in 2016 has become a global phenomenon. And a lot of that is thanks to the support of Unis Center and our partner universities around the world. And here, we see new trends where the consumers change their preferences and social entrepreneurs are really being called upon for actions. And there is a major shift from shareholder to stakeholder capitalism. And as Professor Unis said, we do not want to lead to the track of self-destruction. But now it's a wake-up call. More and more companies and universities and governments now want to promote the concept of social business. And even celebrities, we see lots of celebrities stand up. Well, one of the very big celebrities is obviously Professor Unis, but we have many other celebrities in different fields, from actors to impact investors and others. And there's a huge trend in rising in impact investing. So companies now, in order to get good investment, they really have to have a clear social mission. And that's we are in a very, very good era for the development of social businesses. And SBC is a collaboration of 3 networks: the student network, scholar network, and practitioner network. So Professor Ami just asked before, how can we improve our training? How can we improve our research? And how can we really improve the practice? So SBC has been pretty successful over the last years on all these fronts. From the competitions, we get more and more participants to learn about social business and how to create social businesses. And they become the nuclei that go into companies and really promote this way of doing business. And we have a scholar network that do research on different aspects of social business, and also work on finding the best way to teach social businesses and find the best practices, the best methodology. And SBC, we also organize biannual conferences where we regroup researchers. So and researchers and practitioners that come in for caucus tables to discuss on the next agenda together. So it's also an invitation for you to join us on January 20 and 21st for our biennial conference. And Practitioner Network, we team up with impact investors, policymakers to really drive change. So it's not just proposition, but it's really, we provide evidence, and we ask policymakers and practitioners to change the course of action. So we coordinate with now 7 partner universities officially with us, who represent us abroad in Germany, in Argentina, Brazil, in Mexico, in Vietnam, in Bangladesh, and we hope to expand the network. Next year, you will see China on the table, and hopefully India. We are still in negotiation. And financially, we are backed by big players such as Scotiabank and many others. And I'd like to give you a little bit of the videos to see the sight and sound of our program. I can, because of the limit of time, so I will only give you a very small window to one of our activities.
brought me lots of opportunities in the sense that when you do this competition, you have access to all kinds of training, you have live sessions during the 4 different rounds, you meet all kinds of entrepreneurs from different walks of life, different industries, and that in itself is a great opportunity to be able to have this close contact with them and have insights into their companies and the way they achieved success. I mean, SBC is an international competition, and to see the different ideas from different countries is amazing. And also it opens your eyes to see that, you know, problems that we have here are all over the place too, and together as different nations we can do something. So that was awesome.
We decided to come here because it is a very good opportunity to grow our company and to expand our company to other countries. I'm very grateful with all the team of SBC to give us this opportunity to be here and all the things they teach us, and the judges were amazing and they teach us a lot by their experience.
What I like about the SBC format is that there are 3 rounds and the judges are really pushing for you to learn something, and they want to know how did you implement those lessons learned into the next version of your business model. And so for me this is super important. And the other thing is they really want to aim for impact. So how is your business actually generating impact?
Here to represent with our team, to represent our country. It's very important to be here in this competition.
These kind of competitions are really important to us because we can develop some skills and we can learn of the hand of experts. We have coaching, we have competitions, we are always motivated to do better things. This is the best decision we have made to participate in these kind of competitions because they give us a lot of opportunities to learn, to grow as persons, as professionals, and I think this is great. Thank you.
So here, you know that here we have the conference where we have practitioners and we have the scholars to come together to co-create our next agenda that will feed our research. And here it's the competition where we have the training. And here we have the impact investing. And here at our program, we have training of the trainers. So I would like to invite you to join us. So if you're interested in learning about our activities, I would like to invite you to go to our website at socialbusinesscreation.htc.ca. You see lots of examples of companies that have gone through our, that have been born through our program. So just good news recently, Tubodega, our participant in 2019, just got $1.5 million investment So when they came to us, it was very small little idea by students, but now it's getting to be something really big. Thank you for your attention, and I'd like to give back the time to Anita.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tai. It's your enthusiasm is infectious, and as I was watching the video, something that you know, we are all aware of, having read Dr. Unis's beliefs around the 7 characteristics or traits of social business, is do it with joy, and it looked like there were a lot of people having fun in that video. So thank you so much, and I look forward to some follow-up questions with you. I will turn the baton over to Dr. Iqbal next, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anita, for giving me this floor. Everybody respected Prof. Unis and all the distinguished speakers and illuminaries. Very good evening to all of you. You know, it's evening in Bangladesh. Let me share a few slides with you, please, if you allow me. Dr. Anita, I hope you can see my screen, right? Dr. Anita, am I audible and visible?
You're fine, absolutely,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Iqbal, yes.
Today we are having a Nobel laureate, Prof. Unis, everybody respected. But I want to begin with another Nobel laureate. And you know, Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon, which we can use to change the world. But my point is, which education and what education? And if we see, our Prof. Unis, money making is happiness, and making others happy is a super happiness. You know, I am representing a business school. I am working for Daffodil International University, and it is one of the biggest and finest universities in Bangladesh. And I am working for a business faculty in this university. So I'm a person of business, and I'm dealing with business courses at business students at our university. So if we look at business courses, all theories and practices all are designed toward profit making. And we are always focusing on profit making businesses in our theory and practices in all the business schools across the world. So we are educating young minds or young stars or students to make themselves happy. But you see, one thing is missing, that is super happiness. But there's so many people, so many individuals who have the arts or aspiration to have super happiness. Like Amit University, as my previous speaker sir has mentioned, in India, they started the activities of social business. Like Amit in India, at Daffodil, we started the activities on social business, and it is one of the pioneering universities in our country. And we are closely working with Prof. Unis as well as Unis Center, and always we are getting cooperation and collaboration from the Unis Center in conducting or designing and implementing different social business activities. So we are really grateful and thankful to Prof. Unis and Unis Center. And you know, typical business, the impact or the consequence of typical business, I'm talking about traditional or profit-making businesses, and you will know the consequences. I'm not going to explain the consequences, but we are making this world non-livable. But to have a livable world, I don't say that social business is only the option, but I believe it is one of the viable options. So what we are doing at Daffodil International University. So right now we are having 2 programs. So one is MBA, and we are having a major in social business at our university, and we are having some short courses, and which are sometimes we call summer program or winter program. And it is a short length program, about 1 or 2 weeks. And in these 2 programs, while we are conducting these 2 programs in our university, in MBA, still we are struggling. We are not getting sufficient enthusiasts or students to study MBA and social business in our university so far. And in case of summer program, the short course, we are getting huge, tremendous responses. Not only in Bangladesh, I tell you, it is from across the world. We are getting a lot of participants in different social business programs. especially the short courses we are running here. And why we are, so what are the objectives of running MBA in social business? The objectives, you know, I'm not going to explain those, and they're the courses. And by the way, as it is a session on academia, while we were designing syllabus, in fact, we were in deep sea, because we did not have, we did not find sufficient literature for offering a degree program like social business. So we took all the cooperation from Unis Center, Prof. Unis, Madam Lamia, and that team helped us a lot in designing the syllabus. And we have designed, now we are working on this each and every time, each and every day we are trying to improve the syllabus so that we can make it more useful. And if I'm talking about the summer program, you know, it is a short-term program. As I have mentioned that we are having tremendous responses from our country as well as across the world. And you see, there are the features of the summer program or winter program. So we are having some academic sessions, some tours in successful social business under the umbrella of Grameen and Unis Center. And the participants are having a session with Prof. Unis. Madam Lamia is also giving us time, and they are also having discussion with all the practitioners in our country. And finally, they are submitting a proposal, projects, and they are making the presentation before the judges to fine tune or to just to check the viability of their projects. So this is the whole program of winter summer program, and we always find a lot of interest. A lot of students are having interest in this program. I tell you one thing, and you'll be happy to know that at our university, we always encourage our students to be engaged in social business or the projects of social business. Right now, 3 different teams are working these 3 projects. And I believe these 3 ones will be successful projects, and we'll be presenting all these projects before Prof. Unis very soon, shortly, I believe. The first one is Alapon. Basically, it provides digital training services to the senior citizens. How senior citizens can use all the digital devices in a convenient manner. And we had some sessions at our university. By this time, our teams are working. A particular team is working on this project. And another is Pedicare. It is basically food supplements for the underprivileged children. So they are working some rural areas in Dhaka, in Bangladesh. And finally, Pusti rice. You know, rice is a staple product in our country, and we love eating rice in our country. And in the conversion process, I mean, translating from paddy is being translated into rice. So in this conversion or translation process, probably rice is losing its food value and nutrition value. So this team is working on this, and they have developed a process, conversion process, where we are not losing any food value or nutrition value while we are translating paddy into rice. So there are the 3 projects, 3 different teams are working on. Hope, and we believe these 3 ones will be successful projects, and our university is giving all the support to these 3 teams. As my previous speaker, the first speaker has mentioned that they will build the new world, especially by these young minds, the young stars. And right now, while we are running these programs, we are having some challenges or problems, you can say that. Still, we feel that there is lack of awareness. And then, still, we are not having sufficient leaders. Prof. Faiz is over there, and he will be speaking to us as well. And probably all the academics who are working on social business, they can take measures to produce more literature, which can be communicated. Then lack of seriousness, sometimes it is surprising, a bit surprising to me. I see a lot of zeal and spontaneity in the students in our country, especially in our university. Once they start, sometimes I find they are losing their seriousness. in starting and implementing social business. So probably it is our responsibility. We failed to hold their as a seriousness, or we could not make them understand the seriousness of social business, but or necessity of social business. And finally, after graduation or after studying a particular business discipline, what the students are doing, either they are becoming entrepreneurs or they are working for different institutions. But so far, we don't have huge number of social business enterprises in our country. What these graduates, those who are having knowledge of social business, still they don't have the opportunity or placement in those companies. Some of them are becoming entrepreneurs, but those who want to work for different social business institutions, they're not getting this opportunity. Probably it can be one of the reasons. And finally, so what we need to do immediately, Prof is here. So we'll have to develop more literature. And I believe if we can raise our voice, if we communicate all the universities across the world, so that all the universities are taking social business as a course, compulsory course. It can be a theory course, whatever. If we can make it mandatory, so probably it will help us to create awareness among the young students across the world. It can be one of the options to create, to raise awareness among young stars or young minds in the school, college, universities as well. Then, we are having about 100 YSBCs across the world, 97 or 100, but we need more cohesive relationship among them. If we share the good things among these universities, probably we can learn from each other, and then we can develop some literature for the students. And finally, students engagement. We try at our university, our level best to engage them, as I have mentioned. Enthusiastic individuals, probably they will realize the urgency of social business, and they can become better citizen, and finally we can have a better world in the days to come. So I will stop here. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share the activities what we are doing at Daffodil International University. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Iqbal. I think it's refreshing to have someone who's leading an effort share some of the challenges that you're facing. I'm sure you're not alone, and maybe there will be an opportunity for us to share some best practices. You've already identified ways to overcome that, and I think that that's in the spirit of collaboration and sharing. So I really appreciate your remarks, Dr. Iqbal. What I'll do is I'll invite Dr. Shah as the penultimate speaker before we have a conversation. Dr. Shah, are you here? Do I see Dr. Shah? Oh, maybe you're on mute.
Yes, he's muted. Yes.
You're on mute. We don't hear you, sir.
I'm just trying to unmute, and I think this button's being a little stubborn. Sorry. Well, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure again to come back and talk about our master's program. Allow me to share these slides again, and we are delighted, basically, to have launched the Unis Professional Masters in Social Business and Entrepreneurship at the Asian Institute of Technology. It's taken us a few, iterative steps, etc. But I'd like to mention, first of all, that other than the guidance that was provided by Professor Unis very closely, we also did a kind of a global survey of people, senior year students in a number of universities, and we checked what students wanted in a program like this. And so this, on the one hand, it's guided by Professor Unis's own vision of a program like this. And on the other hand, we've tried to validate it through a more grassroots, direct consumer perspective, if you may. So what you see here is, I don't know if there's, I'm finding it difficult to move my slides, but I'll continue to, I think the speed is not very high over here in the internet. But the idea is that we've included 3 clear elements into the curriculum. We realize that there's some excellent management programs, but they're very light on sustainability topics, particularly the ones that you mentioned, empathy and the human side of business. There's some excellent sustainability programs, including those at AIT, but then they don't really address business or social impact from a commercial or economic aspect. There's a third element. There's excellent stuff in classrooms, but when you come down to the practical side, a number of these excellent programs have internships and all, but they don't really teach people how to co-design businesses and build the kind of business savvy, if you may. It's a tall order anyway to do so in a year and a half if you've had no experience at all. But the induction criterion that we have is that our students are relatively more experienced than, other than fresh graduates. So these three things are brought together by what we call the Unis Colloquium, which we hope will be running in next June for the first time. And we're really sort of expecting a lot of interest in that. And we have Professor Unis already kindly agreed to talk to our students, and some of them, if they can, will visit Dhaka. So these three elements and the colloquium are then also integrated with academic credits that they earn. So there are basically a total 34 academic credits and about 18 practicum credits that we have. So it's 48 credit hours, the US credit hour system. So it's like any other rigorous MBA, except it's not an MBA. Half the courses are coming from our MBA program. The other half are coming from our Masters in Sustainability program. And then there's a huge practicum component, which has field studies, case reviews, skills workshop. And then our last component is a full semester of a sandbox module, where whatever they've picked up along the year and a half that being studying and listening to Professor Unis and being inspired by attending programs like this summit, they will have a full semester of close mentoring at the AIT Entrepreneurship Center, where they will actually turn that idea that they've been having into a business plan and then pitch for it to venture capital. So it's like a full cycle experience. And we're very excited that so far, the students we have had, one is a Hult Prize winner. The other one's been part of creating the first public bank in California, a citizens bank in California. The third one has already won an award as a plastic recycling advocate. There's another one who's been leading a lot of work for the British Council in Burma. So building enterprise ecosystems and so on. So this is the quality of people we're attracting to this program. And as post-COVID travel opens up, I think we're going to have a really very strong cohort of people. I'd like to close this because we have follow-up questions by also emphasizing that this particular program is designed to eventually link up to other programs. So the idea is that the colloquium and the sandbox are mobile components. So if Professor Masoom wants one, or if Professor Mai wants to send her students and all, these are designed to be totally porous programs so that people can come in. Our students, if allowed, will be able to go to other universities. So the crucial element is exchanging the values, exchanging the experience, and exchanging the knowledge that otherwise students, even in the best of universities, are not able to permeate across. So the Unis Social Business Network is this rare network where we are driven by values. We have inspirational leadership in the shape of Professor Unis and some of our other senior colleagues. And there is a moment in time where this is actually a need expressed not only by us, but a generalizing need where a lot of people are saying, where do we learn social business? Where do we catch up on what we've missed? How do we actually implement some of the stuff that we've already thought about, but don't know how to do? So I think that is what this program and others that are coming up, and it's exciting to see so many other programs all over the world now becoming brave enough to call themselves social business programs. You know, there was a time when people say, well, can we call it social entrepreneurship? And we said, nope, it has to be social business. Otherwise, you can have what you want. And eventually, we are now seeing this courage now for people to actually tell the difference between what everybody is calling social entrepreneurship and what we clearly mean by social business. So I'll end here. There's other slides as well, but I hope there'll be follow-up questions and we can get into the more specific elements of this program, because all of the colleagues that are here have seen these slides before, except for you. And so I think we can probably save that for later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shah. What I find really interesting and inspiring is that there is a demand from professionals and senior members of the business community to learn more about social business. I think that speaks to the zeitgeist. So thank you so much. Our last speaker who will share an update on what's going on at his university, the Catholic University of Zimbabwe, is Dr. Munzvengi. Sir, I'm going to pass the baton to you.
Thank you, Dr. Nog. How are you? Apologies, I've been late because of the network challenges. Thank you very much for the discussion that I catch up. Well, I think I start by appreciating you, the moderator, and my colleague, predecessor speakers, and I appreciate the chairman for the Social Business Academia, Professor Muhammad Unis, and the head of the Secretariat, Ms. Lamia Moshad, and Zinet Islam, the Academia Network Manager, and Makerere University for being the first university in Africa to hold the Academia Conference. And the Catholic University too, in July, held the first Social Business Day in Africa. Thanks to them too. Thanks to the Academia Network. The social business actually is undoing the old economic book, whereby we center ourselves on profit maximization and the agents' theories, all looking at the survival of the fittest, whereby we don't care for humanity, whereby we don't care for other social problems that surround us. But social business comes in as a new book, economics books, as a new socio-economic book, as a new socio-economic theory that we think about others, we think about what surrounds us, we think about the earth, how do we preserve the earth, we think about how do we preserve the humanity. Thanks very much to that. And I think I would want to quote Professor Unis when he said that the problems of the world are developed in the academic classrooms. In fact, as academics, as the academia and academicians, we have got a serious role to play in terms of overturning the old economic book. We have to write like what the predecessor speakers been talking about, coming up with programs, the master's programs, journals. We have to write. We have to write to hold workshops on social business.
We are seeing a technical issue with
authorities like the United Nations, like the United Nations, because the social business, it aligns very well with the SDGs and the MDGs. So if we lobby this in line with UN, with a collective voice, I think as well that it will come up very well resonating with what the UN advocates for. So I think as we move forward, in Africa, social business is a very new concept. The first time I went to Bangladesh, Dhaka, was in 2017. Nothing much was known about social business in Africa. And when I met Professor Unis in Dhaka and his team, Lamia and the rest of the team, they agreed that social business is really a relevant concept that would resonate with African challenges, especially the hunger, especially the disease, especially the lack of drinking water, and the lack of financial institutions to support the poor. It came up very well that these challenges that faced in Bangladesh were the similar challenges to facing in Africa. To that extent, 5 years ago, and to date now, we are holding the Social Business Day in Africa. Today we are holding the Social Business Academia Conference in Africa. It gives us a lot of impetus that something is happening about social business in Africa. So what is left is the generality of the Social Business Academia network to support us, to support Africa. We will as well be linking up with the Asian Institute of Technology so that we can buy in terms of the curricula. We develop our programs as well in Africa. We have started off at Catholic University by engaging the youth to engage the rural areas, the poor in the rural areas, so that they can assist them in solving the social problems that they encounter. So in as much as business and corporates need to make money, like Professor Unis said, that making money is happiness, and whilst assisting others is super happiness. I think we need to focus, and corporates need to have budgets or votes that they extend to social business, so that social business grows in Africa. Africa is a developing continent, and Africa has been faced by various challenges in terms of business growth and trade. In so much that individuals or women, the youth, they want to come up with businesses, but unfortunately they don't have resources, and unfortunately at times they don't have guidance. So that's what we're seeking in Africa, that we have these workshops, we have papers, we have journals, we have publications, we have exchanges for social business, and the growth of Unis social business centers in Africa. I think we have quite now have a number of universities that have joined in Africa, and these will help us in terms of outreaching the rural communities and other individuals on social business. Very recently, we have launched a program by Unis Center Social Business for fostering social business in Africa that will encourage competitions among the youth, that will encourage outreach in terms of workshops among the youth being driven by Unis Center. I think this program will go quite a long way in Africa in terms of outreaching universities and the students. I thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Thank you, Dr. Munsvengi. I really appreciate the comments that, social business was a new concept to you not too long ago. And yet when you came and learned about it and you brought it back to the African context, everyone agreed that there's space for it and a need for it. And I think that kind of lends itself to a broader question that I might turn to the group for the last few minutes that we have, which is, we're all speaking to the converted. We all buy into the concept of social business and see its potential and promise. How can we scale up this effort so that we have a tipping point across universities in the world and that we can collaborate globally in research and curriculum and in practice? What can we do to usher in this tipping point quicker, especially in response to Dr. Unis's comments at the very beginning? We must move fast. I invite anyone who's on the panel or anyone who's listening to join in. Dr. Shah.
Right, because I thought while people are going to make some really well thought through comments, I'll just shoot off, and say what I have in my mind. Two things. One thing, of course, is more exchange. We have been talking about it, but I think there's a relative slowness in building collaborations. So one thing that Professor Masoom just said is preparing curriculum material, preparing teaching material, and so on. So we've been running this case writing workshop for a few years now, which is writing teaching cases which are situated in the countries that we live in. They are facile because if I teach, say, a Harvard case to my students, they spend more time trying to understand what's being said rather than analyzing what it's all about. So we need a level that our students can understand without losing some of the interpretive quality of good cases. Now, case writing is difficult. 2 or 3 faculty can't do it. We need a much wider network. So we'd like to invite as many of us who are able to join the case writing program to build one. The second thing, and there's many, but the 2 big ones, is financing this whole thing. The idea of scholarships is important. Scale and the ability to pay for this program or any of these programs are correlated. So if we can somehow find willing support for some really bright students for our programs, the scale up will make itself happen. We have, in our case, the courses are running, the semesters are on, but we're finding it difficult to get some really bright people in simply because not everybody can pay the kind of money universities charge, private universities especially. So if we look at these 2, rallying together to build curriculums and build literature and build materials, and somehow pooling or finding resources through our governments, through our various networks to support bright students, we will see us moving much faster. Just 2 very quick thoughts, but I'm sure there's more coming. Thanks.
Thank you. I see that Dr. Chauhan has put up his hand. I received also a note from Dr. Tai for 2 seconds, and I also see Lamia possibly saying, don't forget the time, Anita. So we have 2 minutes. Maybe we could hear 2 quick bits of feedback. Dr. Tai, you were first.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm very happy that Faiz brought up the issues of collaboration for research, and that's exactly what SBC is doing. So we have workshops on teaching scholars to write cases. And also we organize conferences for people to come and with interest in writing cases, not just coming from SBC program, but other on other cases, as long as they can really help with the training for social business creation. And we also work with publishers for venue out of the products that we create together. So it's not just teaching cases, but also for scientific research for journals. So we plan to have our annual book that comes called Advances in Social Entrepreneurship, Social Business. And then we also have been in discussion with quite a number of publishers, and they are very excited about that possibility. So our researchers have the opportunity to work with each other, collaborate across the globe, and have venue to publish their work. And we have at the conference, it's more of the caucus and roundtable where we discuss on what we could do next. And the next things on the payment, you know that SBC program is free. HEC Montreal charges about $1,000 per week for executive training. And we provide 9 months of training for SBC program without any tuition. So the only thing that participants have to pay for is the $200 administration fee. Just to mention that to apply for any program at HEC, regardless whether you get the result accepted or not, you already have to pay $200 for the application fee. And for SBC, there's no application fee. But if you are accepted, you can come in, and that is $200 for the whole 9 months of training. It's an admin fee because our sponsors only pay for prizes and tuition and not for certain admin work. And the other things, which is also very interesting in terms of the work, because if they do well, they will get prizes. And the first prize winner has $30,000 cash, plus a lot of other services. And we outprice not just for participants, but also universities that join us in our network to develop the pedagogical materials, to develop the training, develop the research. The universities can also win $30,000 for the work. So this year, Foreign Trade University from Vietnam won the first prize for $30,000. And University Veracruz in Mexico won the second prize for $10,000. So we succeeded in getting not only to cover tuition fee, but also to give prizes for those who do great work. Yeah, and so I'd like to really invite you to join our program. So we have lots of different activities throughout the year. And one interesting is that $200 for whole 9 months. So people come in, people can come in with a project or without a project. Without a project, then they will join SBC community, and then they can apply for jobs in the projects that are accepted. So now if you have leadership skill, if you have entrepreneurial skill, you can propose a project. You come in with a project and then you have to recruit members. So you can go to SBC community to recruit members. And the people who join SBC communities may not have to have a project, but they have to apply for a job. And so we do see international teams, for example, a Vietnamese apply for a job, quote unquote, with a team in Mexico. So it's like a Mexican company that recruits employees from Vietnam, from China, etc. So we really create this SBC market where we have projects and we have individuals that work together to solve really global problems.
Great. Wow. Well, thank you again for that enthusiasm. We have just maybe an extra minute to hear from Dr. Chauhan before I turn it over to Dr. Unis to maybe offer a couple of closing comments and maybe a prompt to the group in terms of what your expectations are going forward. But before we do that, Dr. Chauhan, you had a comment.
Yes, great. So first of all, my appreciation for the comments of Dr. Faiz and Dr. Taya. I'll just take 30 seconds and be very brief. Two things. Number one, I feel people are inspired by role models and success stories. So within our network and community, we must share more those models that have really worked and those case studies that others can draw inspiration from. In my experience, that works. And number two, we must truly think bigger to together solve the biggest problems of the world. I think sometimes we are more reactive or passive or look at the ideas at hand, but we must begin by asking what are the biggest problems to solve. So if Professor Unis can inspire us to think about zero poverty, zero unemployment, zero net carbon emissions, we must all think bigger. At Amity, we have recently launched the Amity Sustainability Foundation to work on some of the big problems of the world, and I hope we can all hold hands to do it together. Thank you, Dr. Anita. I'll give it back to you.
Thank you so much. Big, bold thinking. Couldn't agree more. Dr. Unis, can I pass the baton to you for a few closing remarks? I think you're still on mute.
Yes, indeed. Hello. Yes, now okay. I just wanted to thank you. Everything has been said, and all I want to focus again, underline again, world needs you more than ever. Today is something we have to do in a big way, because it's no shying away from the issue, no way of hiding, because nobody is visible to do something concrete. So we have to be visible and make things that we have some idea that can work for the world. Let's do it and show it to people. So we have to be bold and take some bold decisions within the universities, what we do, so that we can undo the things that we did before and get ready to have another kind of civilization. The civilization which has led us to this situation is not going to save us. We need a totally new civilization, which should be completely different than what we have gone through right now. So this is a kind of challenge that we have to face. And while I conclude there, I just want to add two more points. And Johan, Asim mentioned at the beginning about the Olympic laurel. That is an important thing for all of us, because that has opened a big, big door of the sports world. Sports is a big world. There's a lot of power in it. So if you can connect it and kind of excite them, that becomes a big force for change. So this is one, you have your sports groups in your universities, you have the sports department or whatever, your team. Start with them. Let's see what they have to do in changing the world. So this is one area that I draw your attention. Next one, I wanted to mention that we are launching, already launched it, 3-0 Club, asking young people from the universities or outside and families, 5 young people getting together, creating a 3-0 Club, and start thinking about it, doing something symbolic about it, thinking something serious about it. So I keep telling the young people that you are the pilots of this spaceship Earth. So you're not passengers. If you are pilots, if you're navigators, you have to have your flight plans. You know what is your destination, and 3-0 is your destination. So get ready, make your flight plan, and take charge of it. Because previous generations have failed it. You take the planet wherever you want to take. So this is a 3-0 Club. If you see, if you can have some young people get excited about it and get involved with it, they create their own movement, own situations that they have to face. Thank you for participating. It's wonderful having you together again. We hope we can stay close together and do something that we feel happy about. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of the questions and comments, but I do want to respect the conference schedule, and I appreciate your time. Lamia, I pass the baton back to you.
I think just one last thing, I think we want to take a group picture. So those of you who are speaking, Hans, also you're here. Can we just ask our tech team to take a picture of the panel, please?
Also say hello to Mount Kenya. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
No, they're there. They're very much there.
Yes,
actually.
Hi there. How Mount Kenya?
Peter is there with his team.
Hello, please, my colleagues wave to Professor Yunus. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you, Mount Kenya. You've done wonderful work.
He wrote in the comments that they want more exchanges, more workshops, and more opportunities to exchange like we have done at this conference. Yeah.
We'll do that.
Aziz, can you take the photo, please?
Yes, Abu. We take some photos. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all of you. Thank you, Asim. Thank you, Maitai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's now I think this the other Lamia will close the session about what's happening next.
Anita, good night.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Assalamu. Thank you, Anita.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead, Lamia. You can go ahead with what you want to say next.
Well, thank you so much, Lamia. What a delightful day it has been in such meaningful content and exchange of ideas and experiences. I am truly inspired, and with that, I guess we call to conclude all the panel sessions for today. But the content does not end there. The excitement does not end there. We have a number of workshops that I would like to welcome you all. The workshops are all happening on the Jubilo platform. The current workshop that is currently going on is the workshop number 6, a new financial instrument to drive socio-economic development in the waste sector. This workshop is organized by the Unis Environment Hub. And this workshop introduces a new financial instrument, the plastic credit, that is being established in the past consumer plastic waste sector, and invites participants to share their first impression. Maybe if you quickly hurry on, we'll still have 20 minutes left of that. In the chat box, we'll find links to join this workshop. Please remember that you need to have registered. If you have not, we will also share another link. So you may register and join that. Following that, we have a continuation of our first workshop, the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa on how to apply, which is being organized by Kofi Annan Award. This is the day 2 of the workshop where with the Pan-African Call for Digital Innovations for Health and Well-being, where Austria wants to support African entrepreneurs with grants up to 250 euros, a bootcamp, mentors, and high international facilitators. Following that, at East African time, 7:30, Dhaka time 10:30, and Central CET 5:30, we have the next workshop, which is the Green Inclusive Finance in Africa. This one is particularly organized by BNP Paribas. And this workshop will help you to understand what is green inclusive finance and how can it be relevant to the context of African regions. This panel discussion will introduce theoretical concepts and illustrate their operational implementation. And lastly, the last workshop for today is the Pitching for Impact, organized by Circle Innovation. This workshop will take you through the fundamentals of pitching your social business to potential investors and customers. Tomorrow, we have yet another exciting day with country forums happening all over the world. We have 14 countries and regions participating, and we hope that you will find one that you like and you'll be able to join it. Again, these are the links will be shared in the chat. Please follow the links. And another exciting thing that is happening tomorrow is the 3-0 Club Convention that is being organized by the 3-0 Global Center. The 3-0 Club Convention will be a virtual gathering of youth worldwide, especially for the members of the 3-0 Club. Since June 28, 2021, many youths around the world have joined the 3-0 Club initiatives with a vision of creating a world of 3 zeros. Therefore, the convention will be an opportunity for them to showcase their work and activity and plan to improve their community. I welcome you all to join us tomorrow and as well to join the workshops that are currently ongoing. Thank you so much. Have a good day.